Hey, it's the AK Option Trader. I'm out on the road right now. The reason you haven't seen me around because I'm right here in this picture, hanging out in Costa Rica, and I've been pretty busy hanging with some friends and my wife, and haven't had time to do a lot of blogging and stock watching and all that kind of stuff. So I figured I'd do a quick one on the road since we've had such a volatile week. What I'd like to do is start, and let's quickly, a couple days, yeah, it's been about a week I think for me. Quickly what I want to do, and I apologize right now for the sound quality. Like I said, I'm on the road, so I'm on my laptop. I don't have my microphone, my usual office setup, all that cool graphics, whatever. But anyway, so it'll be a quick one. What I'd like to do is start with the Dow right here. This is the weekly on the Dow with all my drawings over the past whatever on it. From this past time, the stuff I always look back to. You can see the 50% fib, which I thought many times would offer resistance on the way up. It slowed down there. It didn't offer much resistance. We got this big, huge, ugly red candle here off this megaphone pattern here, the ascending wedge. It kind of broke down out of it. And look where it stopped on the weekly. Here's the 20 moving average. Stopped right on the 20 moving average, okay? So remember that. We're right on 20 moving average. Likely will offer some support, I'd imagine. It probably won't be phenomenal, but I imagine it'll offer some support. Now that's the Dow. The volume was okay. Here's the NASDAQ, and look at the NASDAQ where we're at now. We're sitting pretty much right on the 200 moving average. When you look at a weekly chart, this is a weekly chart, 200 moving average. Okay, so we're probably going to see a little bit of support in this area too. We're still above the 20, still above the 50, right in here, and then this is the bottom Bollinger Band right here. RSI is still really high. Looks like it's starting to move down a little bit, but it's moved down a couple times, and it's never broke back into the range down in there. And then let's look at the S&P 500. S&P 500, same type of thing. There's a weekly chart. This thing really broke down right here. You can see it too is finding support on the 20 moving average, which is this red line, and also on this uptrend line that I drew. I don't even know when I drew this thing, but it looked like a good uptrend line. It looked like a good area for support. This looks like it should offer decent support here. You've got both of them coming up, meeting together, and usually when that happens, usually when two support lines coincide together, that usually means a little bit stronger support. Okay, most of the time it means a little bit stronger support. So I'll be watching for that on there, on those three. And if you look at the Russell, the RUT, pretty much the same type of thing here. You can see this my downtrend line right here, off the tops of here, here, and then here. Look where we hit. Perfect. I mean, we went up, touched that downtrend line. I mean, picture perfect on the weekly. And now, boom, moving down. We took out this nice bottom here, moving back into this trading range here, okay? So those are all weeklies. Now let's quickly run through them and look at them on our daily charts on the 1 year time frame, okay? Now here's the Russell. You can see, excuse me, that's the air conditioner in the background if you hear any noise. Yes, I need an air conditioner. It's stinking hot here. I love it. Anyway, so here's the tops, is where I put our next support line, and I thought it'd be offered resistance too. But we broke right beneath these tops pretty strong. We took out this uptrend line pretty strong. Now we're back into this range here. It makes sense for this to drop down into this area here. You know, it'll probably go sideways, may come up and retest this before it does it. But it would make sense to me for it to do that. Now if we look at the Dow, okay, same thing. Here's that wedge. Here's that ascending wedge you see here. Here's the red line is the bottom. The red line is the top. You can see we took it out pretty much in 3 straight moves. Bang, bang, bang. If I would have seen this midday watching, and I did look several times throughout the day on Friday, and I thought we'd see some support here. I thought, oh, it's going to stall out right here, especially on the Qs, which I'll show you later. I thought it was going to stall out here. Surprise, surprise, by the end of the day, we had a pretty clear drop. Pretty clear drop, okay? The NASDAQ, this is again on a daily instead of the weekly. You can clearly see we took out this support here, which would be a secondary support. I wouldn't call it primary support, but a secondary support that took out with a pretty good teardrop candle. But this one I would call primary support, this uptrend line. It's a pretty decent one, and we took that out strong. You can see it offered support here, and it looked like it should have held up here pretty good, and we just dropped. We took that thing out real strong, okay? And then the S&P 500, very similar type thing. came up. We did take out my long-term trend line, but not really convincingly. And then we're dropping now. We're probably going to see support here, although we didn't on the Qs and we didn't on the Dow. It didn't hold up, so it could easily take this out. But it looks to me like we should see some support. This would be very near primary support type area. Okay, this right here would be strong primary support down in this area here, which is, I don't know, what's the 1018 level or something like that, 1020. So if we do take this out, I would offer that we're going to see support in the 1020, 1018 level pretty easily there. Okay, if we look at the VIX, that's really slow internet here. Well, my computer's slow, I should say. You can see the VIX took off like a stinking rocket. Everything took off. I mean, it bounced hard. Okay, it bounced really hard. Took out the 200 moving average. I don't think we can sustain this move like this. I think you're going to see some retracement before it does continue higher. I think it's shooting for this line up here. Okay, that's what I think. So it depends on how long it takes, how high it'll go. You can see it was tested once, nearly tested twice, tested good 3 times. Okay, so that's how I made the line, is off of that. Okay, so we'll probably see it get tested again up in that area. Let me show you this, because this is something I've been talking about, I think, for about 2 weeks now. I've been waiting for this euro to break down off of here. Remember this line right here? I thought that the euro eventually was going to break this. Remember what I just said about two support lines offer more support? Well, this is due to the this 200 moving average, but it also had its own support. So you had 2 lines here offer a lot more support. It took a lot more to take this out. Okay, it took a lot more to take this out, and I said when it gets taken out, you know, it may take a few days, it may take a few weeks. Eventually it'll take it out. When it takes it out, it's going to be at a strong move, and it did. We can see that. Now it's probably going to come up, possibly retest or get close to retest before dropping again. That's what I would be looking for. Hence the UUP. Come on, load, baby, load. UUP obviously is up, and it's kind of stalled out a bit, gapped up. We had this nice drop where I thought it would stay in this area. It did clear it, come back down. We had this nice little downtrend going on here. Could be a little bit of a bull flag. And it did jump. It jumped up, a gap, and now we kind of got a little topping action going on here. So anyway, so that's one. That euro worked out pretty much exactly like I thought, causing the UUP to jump a little bit. So let's look at some individual stocks real quick while I got a second here. Got Dish Network. Let's start with the Dish Network. I just like this because it's pretty darn simple, rounded top. Look at this beautiful rounded top right here. Look at this thing. It's nice. Just a rounded top. You can even see it on the Bollinger Band. You look at just this bottom Bollinger Band right here, just a nice rounded formation. So when it hits this gap right in here, 18, what is that? No, this is 1825. Hits that 1825. Look for it to stall out a little bit, and then probably break through it, and then it's probably going to drop a significant $2-3 after that. That's Dish Network. Let's look at a housing stock, PHM Pulte Homes. This is one I like to trade. Just like this, real simple. Just took out the 200 moving average on okay volume, decent volume. Took out the 200, took out the 20, the 50s beneath it quite a ways. I can see this dropping in the bottom Bollinger Band pretty easy. Maybe moving sideways or having an inside day on Monday and then continuing to drop. So I'll be watching that. Here's another housing one. LEN, Lennar Homes. This one found a little bit of support here on the tops here of this trend line. Alright, and with the gap. So you got a little gap support. But if you draw a straight line across this gap, let's zoom in on this a little bit for you. So if we draw a straight line across the actual bottom of this gap right in here, you can see it'll at 1460 in that area. We're right there on that, okay? So I'll be watching for maybe a small day or two and then a break of this and filling that gap, okay? That's Lennar Homes. I don't think it'll bounce there, but it very well could. And this is one I've been talking about for a little while. We've been waiting for JPM. See this line here? I've been waiting for this line to break for a long time. It keeps bouncing, hitting it harder, hitting it longer. Figured eventually it's going to break it. When it does, and it'll have a nice volume increase is what I told you to look for. Look at that. There's a volume increase, and there's your break of the line. It took out the 200 moving average in a matter of 2 days at 43 to 39. Okay, that's a phenomenal move. That is a phenomenal move. I would expect more to come. It'll probably rally back up a little bit. Perhaps retest this. Perhaps retest the 200 moving average. But I think we got some more downside to come. All right, that's it for now. We got some econ news next week on briefing. We've got building permits, housing starts, initial claims, but mostly it's going to be an earnings-driven market and political-driven market the next few weeks. So, Pura Vida, AK Option Trader, signing out. Trade well and prosper.